Alright guys, Sean here, and today we're going to talk about a very unique ability in the world of One Piece. This ability was made mention by Hawkeye himself, Draco Mihawk, in Marineford, and he actually made this statement with regards to Luffy, that Luffy possessed an ability that inherently caused his enemies and people who hated him previously to become allies, and people easily become attracted to him, or at the very least understand his will and his volition, and they end up following out of their own volition and not that he actually influenced them. Because of this ability, Luffy has gathered himself a following and a lot of friends, giants, fishmen, and ancient weapon, and he even now has a fleet. But I don't think that Luffy is the only one who showcases ability in the world of One Piece. Given Luffy is the main character and the driving force of the One Piece story as a whole, I did not want to center this video around Luffy, but instead around other characters who might have exhibited this ability or whom I suspect might have this ability as well. So obviously the first pick would be Buggy the Clown, and this is obvious because Buggy himself tends to get a following out of nowhere. I give you an example. Buggy and Luffy were trying to escape from their cells in Impel Down, but when Buggy and Luffy freed a couple of prisoners, at the end of the day these prisoners turned out to become Buggy found boys out of nowhere. Given they all shared the goal to escape from Impel Down, they weren't obliged to like Buggy or do Buggy's bidding, but at the end of the day they ended up being Buggy fanboys out of nowhere. This means that Buggy's ability as well kicked in. There is also a very important reason why I added Buggy to this group, and that is because Buggy was part of Roger's crew. I believe there's a very specific reason why Oda added Buggy to Roger's crew. It might have been that Oda saw Buggy express this ability and took a liking to him, or this ability inherently was expressed on Roger and Roger decided to take Buggy under his wing. So this in itself is testament to the fact that Buggy has that ability, or in some ways is capable of expressing that ability as well. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section. Do you guys believe that Buggy is able to do the same thing that Luffy does, or at the very least is able to express this ability even if it is to a milder degree? The next character I want to talk about, which would be the final character in this list, would be Usopp. The first characteristic Usopp has is that his lies obviously turn out to be true, and Usopp is used by Oda as a means to foreshadow many things that could happen in the future. But that's not the subject of discussion of the day, because I believe that Usopp was able to express his ability most notably in Dressrosa. The Tontaura were able to capture Usopp and Robin, but what was funny was Usopp used his lies to tie him to Mont Blanc, and as a result the Tontaura ended up being fanboys of his. Not only the Tontaura but even the warriors of the Coliseum allied themselves to him, and at the end of the day he even got himself the title of God Usopp at the end of the Dressrosa arc. This in itself is testament to Usopp expressing that ability as well, and Oda usually uses this ability on characters he uses as trolls, so I found it funny to add Usopp in there. Well, Usopp is kind of a stretch, but I seriously believe that this character is shrouded in a lot of mystery. We know that he's a very important sniper in the world of One Piece, and his dad is probably the strongest and best sniper there is at the moment. So another issue I had with Usopp, or adding him to this list, would be that Usopp's other names are unknown. Similar to Nami, who is called Cat Burglar Nami, but we do not know her other names. Usopp is also one of those characters within the crew whom we do not know the other names, and because his father's name is also Yasop without other names attached, it made me kind of wonder why Oda is trying to hide the other parts of Usopp's name, because obviously Sanji's names tied down to him being relative to the Vinsmoke family, and Nico Robin's names tied her to Urahara. So I believe that Usopp's other names could end up being very important, and since Usopp tied himself to Mont Blanc, maybe his name could be Mont Blanc Usopp or Mont Blanc D Usopp, depending on whether Mont Blanc was a D. But as far as I'm concerned, that is kind of a stretch. So let me know your thoughts about this video in the comment section. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys real soon.